Hello everyone and good evening to all. So this is the test series for English lecturer exam Pravakta. This is the literature series and I will also upload the language series too. So you just simply have to answer these questions in the comment box, and if you don't know the answer then don't worry, just simply subscribe this channel. I will come to the live in the I think at the end of the week, and then I will give the all the questions answers and deep analysis too. So don't worry about that. Just simply subscribe and start the test series. Question
What
number
does
one.
the term Renaissance mean?
Renaissance began in which country? Which city is considered the birthplace of Renaissance? Who is known as the father of Renaissance? Who painted the Mona Lisa? Which artist sculpted the statue of David? Who wrote The Prince? The Renaissance marked a revival of interest in which ancient civilization? Who is famous for painting the Sistine Chapel ceiling? Which Renaissance author wrote plays like Hamlet and Macbeth? What invention by John Gutenberg revolutionized the spread of Renaissance idea? Who wrote Utopia? The Renaissance emphasized which philosophical movement? Which astronomer proposed the heliocentric theory during the Renaissance? Who painted the birth of Venus? In which century did the Renaissance primarily occur? Who is considered the author of the Divine Comedy? Which family was the greatest patron of the art during the Renaissance? What was the primary language of Renaissance scholarship? Who wrote Don Quixote? The Renaissance saw the rise of which artistic technique for depth in painting? Which English monarch region is associated with Elizabethan Renaissance? Who is known for his anatomical studies and invention like the flying machine? What does the main focus of Renaissance humanism? Which work by Erasmus criticized church corruption? Who sculpted Pieta? The fall of which city in 1453 contributed to Renaissance by bringing scholar to Italy? Which Renaissance figure painted the School of Athens? Who wrote the Canterbury Tales influencing the Renaissance? What was the Renaissance view of the universe challenged by? Now here's the UGC Net PYQ. Which school of thought considered with the Renaissance? Again, who is the author of studies in the history of Renaissance? The Renaissance originated in which city? The next question, what kind of writer was Diderot during the Renaissance Enlightenment overlap? The Renaissance is known as an intellectual movement because which movement emphasized ordinary language in Renaissance poetry? During which period was Canterbury Tale written? Who dedicated the Fairy Queen to Queen Elizabeth? What is the first step in Renaissance research methodology? Which art period follow right high Renaissance? Which statement is not true of Renaissance? Before the Renaissance, who the greatest patron of the art? The term Renaissance is misleading because which family became patron during Renaissance? Renaissance artists looked to which civilization for inspiration? The High Renaissance referred to which period? What was the Renaissance? Where did the Renaissance begin? The Renaissance marked the end of who come to represent Renaissance men. Edmund Spenser is known for primary allegorical character in the Fairy Queen is virtue focused in book first of the Fairy Queen. Francis Bacon is famous for who wrote Novum Organum. Christopher Marlowe's play about selling salt to devil. Philip Sidney's contribution. Ben Jonson known for. John Donne is George Herbert work. Who wrote Astrophil and Stella? The Renaissance in England is also called University wit include political theory influenced by Reformation in Renaissance. Martin Luther nailed 95 theses. Two aspects of Reformation. Renaissance brought out of Middle Ages by Renaissance known as rebirth. Humanists believe in who is the author of Praise of Folly, which work is by Boccaccio. Titian is famous work Vesalius contributed to. The Renaissance spread to northern Europe was English Renaissance peaked under impact of Renaissance on history writing, concentration in PhD history, Renaissance of 12th century, Machiavelli's advice in The Prince, Shakespeare's theatre, sonnet form introduced by Bacon's scientific method, Galileo's invention, Renaissance music shifted to who wrote the Book of the Courtier, Protestant Reformation started by Council of Trent was Indian Renaissance in modern history, Renaissance in sericulture, who painted the Last Judgment, Petrarch's contribution, Rabelais' work, Northern Renaissance focused, who discovered America in 1492, the Renaissance architecture feature, Bernal's design, Diderot was, who wrote first modern English novel, which work is not by Virginia Woolf, Renaissance ended with.
So now this I will also upload the part 2 of these questions, and I will complete all the lessons. Don't worry about that. I will complete your whole syllabus. But in the end of the week, I will come live and then I will tell you that all these answer and we will discuss these topics too. Thank you.